Fresno, California today.
Okay, sometimes I hold my breath, yeah. I don't got no time to spare. I could go my way, go yours. You see real life, I see toys. I don't got no time to spare.
All right, what is up, everybody? It's Steph the Pharaoh coming back today. This is Luxic Vue Mindset, episode number 6. And today I got a really special guest. He's a good friend of mine. We go back, over a couple decades ago now, going back. His name's Willie Prince-Mata. I like the sound of your name, man. I was actually looking at one of your posts. It was a while back, and you were like, you were referencing Will Smith, and I actually never caught the name, how it's like very similar, but I like Will Prince. It flows, and you don't got to make up anything. It just goes with it. But thank you for being on, man. Thank you for showing some love and being on my show. I really wanted to bring you on. There was a couple of things, just following you and following your story. I've seen just different things that you're doing, especially now. You're the co-host and co-founder of That's How You Feel, the podcast. It's really cool. I've checked out, quite a few episodes, and I like seeing you doing your thing, man. And just with that, pushing through the whole virus, pandemic, whatever you want to call it, it's awesome to see that, you've really honed in on what it is that you're personally passionate about. And I mean, I like your twist in it because you're a sports guy. Ever since I've kind of followed you, I've noticed that you've been into sports and you've been into a lot of athletics. So, I mean, it's like your own niche. But thanks again, just for hopping on. I'm grateful and blessed that you're here. And I wanted to take a dive into just your history, give some light and inspiration for those that are watching you and that know you, and just to kind of share with them like, hey, we're not all perfect. You and I have had these conversations in the past. But without further ado, man, I want you to get into a little bit of your story. How did you like growing up in Porterville?
I loved it, man. It was, the perfect size city for me. I think everybody knows everybody. It made me who I am in a way. I guess it always has its good and its bad things, just like every other city. But for the most part, I love it, bro. Grew up in a middle-class home, parents that were, on and off, and just not, I wouldn't say the most the love story you always search for, the best. I guess from the outside looking in, you think that my life is perfect, and I was always the guy that everybody thought I was popular, or thought that was never dealing with no problems or anything. But I had my personal problems too, bro. We had a broken household. My dad died when I was younger, but everything that I went through and I've gone through, I think it's shaped me into the person I am today. And I'm still dealing with issues. I still deal with shit that's not, I guess perfect, but I can't ever judge God or question God for what he's done for my life or put me through.
Most definitely.
I think that's all aligned into, who I am today and what I'm going through now. And I'm blessed. It's been a rough year, personally, and, just in the outside world too, just everything that has happened in 2020, the pandemic, and, like you're talking about sports, Kobe was, my idol. Like it went like my dad and Kobe, like that was the list right there, bro. And just to lose somebody like that, so young, so gifted, and just, touching the surface into what he was going to do post career. It hurts, bro. It still hurts to this day. I just actually, post on Instagram the other day. I can't believe he's gone. I still can't believe he's gone. But on the other hand, I'm thankful for this year too, because, without the pandemic, me and Bethel would have never, taken that step into, trying to reach our dreams, doing something that is uncommon where we're from. Not a lot of people feel like they always feel like you got to do, the normal route as far as in life, go to college,
right?
Get that salary job, be a teacher, be a CO, a cop, whatever it may be, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I always felt like I wanted to be, my own boss. And I think Beto and I have that same mindset where we don't want to have a cap. We want to do something where it's special. We can drive other people. We could drive people from our city, most importantly. And that's what I love about our podcast is that we like to shed light onto people in the valley that are doing those type of things. They don't have a cap. They have a mission, and they have a bigger goal in mind that it's more than just them. You know what I mean? That's our vision too, bro. Like and I see you've been doing that for a long time too, and I admire that, man. And you know, without you taking that step, you did it. You've been doing this shit for what, like 5 years, 5+ years with Luxic Vue and with Luxic
yeah,
Vue.
I mean, I'm kind of everywhere, but I appreciate the recognition, man. You know, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And it's you know, it's something I admire, and something that without people like you, I would probably be doing what I'm doing today, or me and Beto wouldn't be doing what we're doing today. So it takes just that one person or two people that can really drive somebody else. And you know, there are special talents in our city. There are people in this area that can do shit. You know what I mean? But I just don't think they have that belief group behind them. And I feel like we're the type of people that we should be pushing that shit. You know what I mean? We take initiative. You know what I mean? We have the world in our hands. You know, especially with social media nowadays. Like anything is possible. And I feel like without that drive, or without those people that can be a representation of that, we're going to continue to be that city that nobody's going to feel like they could do anything. So I think if we kind of put our feet down and kind of start pushing and working hard and doing what we love and believe in, people are going to follow for sure.
100%, man. I mean, you touched on a really a plethora of good points that I want to kind of capitalize on. But again, I appreciate the recognition. I appreciate you just, you know, bringing me up, and it's definitely not easy. I'll tell you that. And I know that.
Oh, for sure. Trust me, bro. Starting this journey, it's been a fucking grind, man. I can't lie to you. It's been a grind, but it's a blessing to even have, you know, that type of stress in your life. You know what I mean? There's people that are not as fortunate. So I mean, I'm more motivated than ever. You know, I mean, I want to push, you know, that there's always hope. There's always something that's out there that's bigger than you can possibly imagine. You know what I mean? That's why I feel that's how you feel. Me and Beto feel that, like, this is something that's bigger than just a podcast. People want to just, you know, look at us as just a sports podcast, but no, we have a bigger vision behind that, bro. Like it's more than that. We want to be a brand. We want to, you know, branch off into different things, dude. Just like I'm sure you do.
Yeah, same thing, man. I think for me, it just comes down to like identity. And over the years, I've battled, you know, that self-image. I'll bring up a book later and I'll kind of capitalize on it. I think you might appreciate the book. One thing I want to bring up right now that you brought up was the belief system. And we'll just kind of tie into that, and we'll tie into, you know, the past and kind of how you grew up. What was your belief system like, just in you in general? Like, how were you raised? Did you have that belief system to go out and, you know, break down walls? Like, did you believe in yourself, you know, growing up?
I'd be lying if I said I did. I wouldn't put that on my parents, though. I think they've always been supportive. I don't know. I guess you could say there was a wall, just because I never imagined myself, you know, doing anything outside of like the norm. I never had that dream job. I never had that. I want to. The only thing I ever wanted to be was an NBA player, but I'm 5'11", and you know, I could barely. The best I could ever do was tap the rim at most. So I mean, that dream was far gone. But after that, like, I never really knew what I wanted to do in life, bro. And even to this day, like, before we started this podcast, I could say I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. I went to college. I got my master's degree in psychology. I wanted to.
Oh wow!
I couldn't say I wanted to be a school psychologist, because I really didn't. I was just doing it because, you know, I was in that realm already. I was working at a high school and working in special education, and you know, it changed my life. You know, I mean, it gave me a different perspective. But to keep a long story short, I would say I never really had those visions of, you know, doing something out of the ordinary. And, you know, my parents were very hardworking. My dad's probably the hardest working man I ever knew in my life. You know, and that comes with good and bad. You know, I mean, he wasn't home a lot. You know what I mean? So he was working a lot of hours, 6-7 times a week.
Wow. What did he do for work, if you don't mind me asking?
He was a correctional officer. But he worked a shitload of overtime. So I mean, he was always gone. My mom was the same way.
Yeah, that's where they make a lot of their money.
Oh yeah, for sure. Financially, we were good. Don't get me wrong. Like, we were good financially. We took beautiful trips as a family, like to New York, DC. We have family in Texas, so we traveled a lot growing up. But in the inside of the home, you know, there's always those those problems. And my parents they had their issues, and they argued a lot growing up, and they ended up getting divorced. Even by the time, I think we went to middle school together, so around that time is going into my freshman year, that's when they got divorced. So that changed my life forever. And like all through high school, we were split 50-50, so I had to go back and forth with my parent. So yeah, it sucked, man. Don't get me wrong, but when you're going through it, you don't really know that this is not normal. You know what I mean? You're kind of going through the just the wave of life, I guess you could say. I didn't really know this is not normal. That's just what I was accustomed to. And I think it gave me perspective in life, just because I don't want to put my kids through that. You know what I mean? I know how much of an impact and how much hurt me and my sisters went through growing up. So it sucked to live through that, but at the same time, it's a blessing, because you know the impact it can have on your kids one day. So you want to kind of really think about those decisions you make in life, those wrongs you do, or rights, whatever it may be. Everything you're doing, it's going to make an impact farther than your own personal life. So yeah, I didn't have the best childhood growing up, but I'm blessed that I was able to go through my problems as well. Just I'm sure as you did, or people listening did. We all have our issues. We all have our story, and it's not just financially. I mean, people always think that you had all this money growing up. You're blessed that way. That doesn't mean nothing. Like,
right?
Yes,
it's like you're winning in one category, but you could be suffering in other categories that
for
are
sure.
not on people's radar.
100%. And like I said, but don't get me wrong, I'm motivated. I want to be able to support my family financially, and that's of course a motivating factor in my life. But I know it's more than just that. And I have a lot. I put a lot of light onto the way I was brought up, and I'm thankful for the bad shit that happened in my life. Just I'm sure you might not see it, but as you're going through it, but as you get older, you get wiser, you kind of realize those
100%.
things. So it's all of it has played a factor into where I'm at right now. So I mean, and I played sports growing up. Basketball was my shit. That was my sport. Played football for a little bit, but my love for sports was just growing up with my dad, bro. The Sports Center every night.
Wow.
Sports Center every night. Big Laker fan, big Cowboy fan. Like, just Cowboys football on Sunday was a religion to me, bro. Like, it's just watching Kobe and Shaq win rings, and Kobe doing it by himself. Like that was like a huge part of my life. That was
wow.
One of the most
so
memorable.
You've always been a Laker and a Cowboy fan then.
And Dodgers, dude. And growing up, going to Dodger games, like I've been to hundreds of Dodger games just from my parents taking us when we were little. You know what I mean? So
that's exciting.
I just it's more than just sports. I know a lot of people talk about, it's just sports. Like they don't care about you. Why do you care about them so much? But it's deeper than that, bro. Like it's deep rooted. I actually have a love for it. Like it's the competition. You know what I mean? The work that's put in behind the scenes to be at that level of greatness. You know what I mean? I respect that, and it goes outside of sports too. It goes the way we work. You know what I mean? Too. It's not just exercise and getting your body right. It's more than you could put that into creating a podcast, or being the best teacher possible, being the best cop possible. There's different things you can do to and a lot of it connects to sports. You know what I mean? I love it. It goes. I can go talk about sports forever, bro. And if you listen to the podcast, I get into detail. It's me and Beto, and that's what me and Beto connect so much too, because he has that love and admiration for his teams, and not just teams, sports in general. You know what I mean? We're not the most athletically people in the fucking world, but
hey, but you have the knowledge and you have the passion, and I mean, if that's driving you, it's gonna outbeat anybody that that has the credentials that you don't. So I mean, at the end of the day, you found your outlet, and I think that's cool, man. And again, that's why you're here today. Just because you're like you mentioned earlier, we're going against the grain just by doing things, by being by speaking. Right. Some people have the fear just to get up and speak or to be on the show. I don't know if you've had anybody be like, hey man, I would, but XYZ, because they don't they don't want to talk on camera, or they don't want anybody to hear.
Oh, but I try to hype it up, bro. Like I get a lot of people that are nervous, and I tell them it's normal. Like every time we turn the mics on, I get little butterflies. It's just like when you go into a game, like you get butterflies before the game, and once that mic's in your hand, once you start talking, it's you kind of just kind of go through the groove, and it's a lot comfortable. And it depends on who you're talking to too. Like we try to make them feel comfortable when they join the show. You know, just as you did. Like, you had a great introduction. You know what I mean? You're easy to talk to. You know, you're real descriptive with what you want to hear. So I mean, it just depends on who you're talking to too. Now, if I was just real dry and simple, and yeah, it's not as fun, but we want to make our guests have a lot of fun. You know what I mean? We want to make sure that they leave the interview being like, damn, that was dope. I want to come back, or I would love to do another podcast, or you know, they give a good impression to us and they tell the next person. And you know, it's just it's a lot of fun, bro. I really like it. And it's kind of ironic because behind the scenes, when I'm, you know, off the camera or off the mic, I'm real introverted. Like, I'm real to myself. I like to just, you know, just relax and be in my own head in a way and talk to myself. I don't know if that's weird or not, but I talk to myself. Like, I don't. And Bethel always gets mad at me too. I'm like, bro, I'm with you 5 days a week, bro. We're talking about business and the podcast and shit. Like, I just need my time. You know what I mean? My time alone. And that's why it's kind of ironic, but
there's nothing wrong with that, man.
Balance.
That's kind of weird that you mentioned that, because honestly, we're very similar. Like, I explain it to people. You got to recharge. You got to, you know, do what's right for you, your body, your mind. You know, you're in control of that. There's only one you. You're the only one that knows what you need. But at the same time, man, I've been in sales like the last 7-8 years, and that is important, finding that you time, because you're like, I was giving out, like, just think about it this way. Think about doing multiple podcast shows a day about how drained you'd be, no matter who it is, even if it's a fun conversation. You're going to be exhausted. So I'd have like 3 to 4 of these appointments per day, having sometimes boring conversations. And
repetitive, I'm sure, too.
Very repetitive. And like you said, like, if somebody's dry, or, bro, you got to deal with it, and you got to sit there and you got to talk to them. So doing this is it beats everything that I did before, because I not only get to choose who I have on, but, you know, I'm naturally excited whoever I bring on. But that's besides the point. What you were saying with recharging, just being in your own head, kind of doing your own thing, I think that that's pretty important. And for you to have the self-awareness, you know, I mean, you know, you got your master's in psychology, but for you to have that self-awareness of, hey, I got to do what's right for me, and to disclose that and kind of set those boundaries with whoever is in front of you, I mean, that's important in relationships, I think, because you know what you need. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Now, I kind of want to go back to the middle school, high school era. And I wanted just to kind of ask you, you know, you said you played sports and you did these things. At what point for you did you like decide that, hey, because I mean, did you play basketball all 4 years?
So I played basketball all 4 years, and I played one in college. Now, I got cut my sophomore year, to be exact. But then I played my junior year and senior year. But I didn't really take it serious, and it kind of all ties back into, you know, having people like us to push things and educate people, because where we're from, we don't have like camps where you can go in, learn the basics of basketball. You know, everything I learned on my own, or I learned watching on YouTube, or watching the NBA, or didn't have that personal training coach. Like I had this guy Jake that came on our show, and he's a personal trainer here in the Valley for basketball. And, you know, I was so pumped up to even know that there's somebody out there that's doing that for kids, because I would have loved to do that, bro. Like I had to train on my own. I had to do everything on my own, just go in the park every week, go in the park every single night, even in the winter. Me and my friend Mig, like
Did you go to Zalad?
Yeah, Zalad, bro. Went to Zalad every single night, bro. Even during the winter when everybody's not even fucking playing anymore because it's freezing cold. Like we were out there hooping. Like that's just what we did. Like that's just what we love to do. And you know, it got to, you know, I graduated high school, and then I went to PC, and then our freshman year, no, it was my sophomore year of college. Mig was like, dude, just go out, just go try out for the team. I'm like, dude, I can't do it, bro. What the hell? He's like, bro, just do it. Who gives a shit? I'm like, you know what? And that's kind of been my mindset. Like, I'm gonna take a chance at something. If I don't fucking get it, then hey, I don't get it. But at least I can live with myself knowing that I took a chance on that. And I went, I worked my ass off. I was definitely the hardest working person in that gym. You know what I mean? I had a lot to prove. You know, we weren't very good, but I mean, and I didn't play a lot, but just knowing that I made the team and I was able to, you know, be a part of something like that meant a lot to me. And I hold that with a lot of pride, even though I wasn't the best basketball player in the world, but I can definitely say I was one of the hardest. That's for damn sure. Like, I worked my fucking ass off, and I work my ass off with anything I do. That's school. That's this podcast. That's, you know, I'm very driven. Like, if I put my mind to something, I'm going to fucking do whatever I can to achieve it. And that's why I know That's How You Feel is going to be one of the biggest things to fucking come out of the valley for sure. And I think if you have that mindset, you're going to get places, you know what I mean? That's just my mindset, bro. That's just how I am. I don't know.
Exactly, man. Don't let anybody talk any fear into the plans that you have.
Never.
And just by you saying what you said right now, it reminded me of a quote that I heard a while back by somebody named Alex Morton.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, you know, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Facts.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And I mean, that goes for anything that you're doing, whether that be a sport, whether that be school, whether that be a job. And I think, you know, for a lot of people, you know, I'm guilty of it as well, man. You know, I started working when I was like in middle school, honestly, and I've been working ever since. You know, started full time when I was like 19 and stuff. And I just remember busting my ass, man. And kind of like what you were saying, you know, I don't want to be doing this forever. I don't want to be working for the man, you know, forever. Yeah. So I kind of had to like figure everything out, but it all came back to like confidence and belief and wanting to do something bigger than what I was doing. And for me, you know, I always would get in my own way 110%. I'd always get in my own way by just kind of second guessing myself, kind of like what you were saying that you did, you know, but your buddy convinced you like, hey, just try out for the team, you know? And I think it's important that, you know, we have those people and we surround ourselves with those types of people, because if you're not, you're almost, you know, back in like a negative environment, you know, 100%. Being talked out of things. Would you say for you, can you like recall of times where you maybe had to switch up, like who you were around at given times? Like, did that ever happen for you?
Yeah, for sure. There's been plenty of times, and, you know, I think it's not really something you should think of as being, you know, a bad thing or selfish. In a way, it's selfish, but it's a good selfish, like, because the people you surround yourself with, it's very important to, you know, your mindset and what you want to do, and even your character. Like, you start to morph into, you know, the people you surround yourself with, depending on how mentally strong you are. But even how you can be the most mentally strong person in the world, but it's just contagious. Like, you're gonna be, if they're thinking negative, you're gonna start thinking negative. If they're acting this way and doing these things, you're most likely gonna start doing those things too. But one thing that I've always felt is that I just don't give a shit what people think. I don't really care. It's always been my character. Like, of course, I can't say I don't care at all, but for the most part, I've always loved to be a leader. You know, I've never liked to follow the norm, you know, whether that be in, you know, music taste or in fashion, or, you know, even doing a podcast like this. I always want to be the one to show that you could be different. You can be who you want to be. You could be anything you envision. Don't just do it because everybody's doing that. Like, if you see something you like to do, or you see a certain brand that, you know, is like, dude, I'd be kind of edgy to rock, but dude, just fucking wear it. Like, if you like that, and I'm just giving examples, like, and that can relate to anything in life, but kind of going off charts. But yeah, who you surround yourself with is important. Like, even this podcast, and you were kind of talking about it, but if it wasn't for Bethel, you know, kind of be like, hey, bro, let's just, like, fuck it, let's just do this. Like, we need to pull the trigger. You know, we always have those talks like, oh yeah, let's start a podcast. You know, that'd be dope, this and this and that. Like, no, but until you buy the equipment, until you start making those moves, like, you're not going to do it. So he's like, bro, pull out your phone right now, go on Amazon or go on Google and figure out what we need to buy, you know, and we'll do it. We'll fucking do it. I'm like, okay, dude. I pulled my phone out, started doing my research, started buying all the equipment. You know, that's the thing. Like, we started from the bottom, bro. Like, we started from the gutter. Like, I didn't know anything about this stuff, but I learned and you can learn all this stuff on your own. Like it's
Seriously.
for sure. Like there's education is, in my opinion, one of the most over, I want to say overrated, but it's just, I don't feel like it's that important. Like you can learn everything on your own. I was listening to Elon Musk talking about that the other day, and he was just saying that education is such a waste of money. You can go to the library and learn everything you learn in college. It's just it's all just how much you want to do it. You know, how much you're willing to go and learn. You know what I mean? If
Especially
you want to learn,
nowadays with all the
yeah,
information out there.
100%. Like it's in your phone. Like just
Yeah.
Google it. Go to
Right.
the library, pick a book. Like you can learn this stuff on your own. And I learned the things I've learned, and we started in June. The things I've learned in what is that 7 months, bro. All free. I've learned it all for free. Everything. YouTube, Google, looking at Reddit and looking at what people are suggesting to do. And you're gonna make some mistakes. Yeah, you're gonna buy some things that might not be the right things to buy. But I mean, that's all part of the process. Like you got to be willing to make those mistakes and learn. Like it's super dope. And I wish I would have done this shit a lot sooner. Like I really wish. That's one thing. I'm already 27, but I wish I would have started doing this shit a lot sooner, because all this shit is so accessible nowadays, man.
Right. I mean, we're definitely still young, man. I think age is like the energy that you bring to the table. And one thing that is like my biggest pet peeve is when people refer to themselves as old. Like I know a lot of people our age and a year older, 2 years older, where they're like, dude, I'm old.
Yeah.
And I understand like the physicality of it. Like, yeah, my body's aging, but age is a mindset, man. If you're aging, then you're
So we
dying.
had Anthony Gonzalez. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he's a personal
Yeah,
trainer.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
he
know
was
who
talking
this.
about that too. He's like, I'm still a kid at heart. He's like, I asked him, I'm like, do you think that whole narrative that, you need to start growing up at a certain age and, you got to start focusing on these things and, mature. Do you think that factors into the way you age and the way you develop as a human being? And he goes, oh, 100%. I mean, you start getting wrinkles in your eye. You start getting all these, that's stress, bro. That's like you're taking life way too serious. I mean, you need to start realizing that, we are kids at heart. I mean, if you're passionate
Yeah.
about something, you love something, then fucking do it. Like there shouldn't be no growing up. There shouldn't be no mature is like, I don't know, something that I don't know if I could ever do, just because I'm such a fucking clown. I'm such a goofball. Like even with my girlfriend, like I like to, make her laugh and like to, roast her and talk shit. Like I don't know if I can ever just be, a mature Willie. I don't know. I can't see myself doing that. I don't know how you are personally, but
Yeah, I'm very different, man. I just think it was the way that we grew up. I was kind of almost forced to grow up faster than I should by how I was raised. And looking back, anybody would say that that's a bad thing, but it's made me into who I am. Sometimes, it depends on who I'm around, man. Honestly, I just think it's like sometimes I'm more open with other people. Just I can think of about it like on a physical level, a spiritual level. I think of my life very spiritual though as well. But yeah, it just depends on who I'm around. If I'm around like a bunch of friends that I've known forever, they're going to see all kinds of different sides of me, as to where like if I was on a business lunch or something. But
mhm.
naturally, not because I'm trying to like fake who I am, but it's interesting when you talk, like, I don't know if you've ever talked to a lot of older people, but naturally your vocabulary instantly you're like, where did I get
Yeah,
that
for
word
sure.
from? But you're just like talking. So I can relate, but I think that that's one thing, that I can highlight to where that's why I actually watch and keep engaged with your content, man. You're your own character. You're unique. I think you're really funny. I've seen some of your older vlogs before when you're
Mhm.
vlogging.
Thanks,
Uh,
bro. I appreciate
Now, with that, I could go on and on with belief. I think just right there, belief in general. If you were to go back in time, or if you were to tell somebody growing up, I mean, because you've learned a lot, and you went to school for psychology, which I want to tap into a little later because I find that category just fascinating.
it.
But if you were to tell somebody, you know, your age growing up that's interested in sports, or that has like a same what's the word I'm looking for, or just same demographic as a younger kid, what would you tell them growing up about being just themselves? Because I feel like you've learned quite a lot, you know, with your own experiences, you know, where you're like, hey, I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to be a leader. I'm not going to follow what other people are saying. If I like it, I'm going to buy it. If I like it, I'm going to do it, you know, because not everybody does that in high school, middle
For
school.
sure.
I know I didn't. And that was something I had to learn in my adult years after the fact. So for you, I mean, if you've always been like that, you know, what's something that you can tell, you know, somebody growing up that's going through it, that doesn't know it's good, bad, or, you know, maybe they do, but they're just trying to follow the crowd.
It kind of just ties back to what you just said, bro. Like, just if you want to be authentic in life, you have no choice but to be you. I truly believe that. Like, and it's funny because, you know, a lot of people hate on like Tekashi 6ix9ine and like Lil Pump and all these artists, in which in a way, yeah, they are kind of, I don't want to say the word,
I
but
think it's just the shenanigans.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking. Yeah, exactly what I mean. Yeah, they do some stuff that's bad, but in a way, they're being themselves, and they're not afraid to, you know, go against the grain and be who they want to be, or be like, I don't know, bro. Like, it's just
I
it's
see where
hard.
you're
It's
coming
hard
from.
because you can't really give somebody that mindset. Like, it's either in you or it's not. It depends. It's all depends on, like, I don't know, bro. It's just the way I grew up. Like, the music I listened to. You know, I was heavily into Kanye West growing up. That's my
Ooh,
favorite artist of all time. And what is Kanye? Like, Kanye is the most, you know, he's that artist that doesn't care what people think. You know, he's always been
100%.
influential, and he's always, you know, progressed everything he's done, whether it's music or fashion, or, you know, even now he's getting into his faith, and, you know, made loving God cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
everything
I
he's
like that
done.
album, the
Oh, I
recent
loved
one.
it too, bro. I loved it too. It was dope. He made gospel cool in a way. So I mean, it's hard to give some of that mindset, but I would just try to give him like people to listen to, or to talk to, or to kind of understand that that's the way to be successful in life. I believe is to be you. Like, you can go ahead and copy somebody, but if you do, then what's the whole point? You're not gonna have fun with that. You know what I mean? You're not gonna. That's why I love what me and Beto are doing, because we're being ourselves, and it's so fun. But I wouldn't be able to have done this if it wasn't for Kanye, if it wasn't for, you know, people like you doing, you know,
I
doing
appreciate
making
that.
your own brand and doing something you believe in. Like, it takes, and hopefully I become that person too, that somebody can look up to, and, you know,
I think
be.
you already are, man. You don't
I hope
realize
so. I hope so.
how you're shining. You know, it's crazy because we don't see other people's perspectives of how we are, you know.
Mhm.
And I think it's one of those things, you know, behind closed doors, you just have to know who you are. You have to continue to recreate yourself. And I'll kind of tap in on that book that I was telling you about, but it's called Psycho Cybernetics.
Mhm.
At the moment, I don't know who the author is. I could look it up, but I don't really want to be on my phone.
It doesn't sound
Um,
like a very fun book, bro.
it's
That's
it's not, but I think you would appreciate the perspective that it kind of gives. It mainly talks about self-image, man. You know, and it definitely
okay.
is not. I listen to a lot of like personal development, a lot of business stuff. But I like thinking. I like getting my mind thinking outside of what I know. I don't know if you've heard of like Alan Watts, or if you've heard of like Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, people like that. Like
Mhm.
psychology, and that's where I was kind of going with that, bro. That it really just fascinates me how the brain works,
It's a trip, bro. It's a trip.
how we do what we do because of like things that led up to it. And I was ignorant to a lot of that, you know, in high school growing up. So I think when I started to like reflect on who I was and what I was doing, and like why I was reacting certain ways, why I wasn't like as happy as I thought I was in different moments, you know, and you know, in and out of relationships. That played a really big role in my life to like understand me better. And that's why I'm fascinated with the whole, you know, industry in general, because I think if you have the ability to recreate yourself and do exactly what you said, not listen to what other people are saying, the naysayers, that book talks a lot about how when we don't have like the proper self-image, we'll begin to do things that we won't necessarily like realize that we're doing. So like if I think of myself as like, oh, I'm not good enough, for example, you're never going to be good enough in any category you put yourself in because you're constantly telling yourself that. Whereas if you were like, hey, I'm going to try and give an example. If you're just like, hey, I get better at everything that I do all the time, so I'm just going to put in effort. Like it's just a mindset switch. And that's just a very vague example. But in that book, it talks a lot about how self-image, and it gives examples. And I think that that's important because it gets you to understand better. But check it out. I'll send you a link to it. But that book really helped me understand in moments when I was like in between a rock and a hard place, why I was actually thinking that I was in that hard place when in all reality, I really wasn't. It was my mindset that it was my mind. I was putting myself in that position because of my identity that I'm like attaching onto, you know, because back then, bro, like, I mean, like I told you, I started working since I was like 19, 18, like full time. I've always been working. I had to work in high school. My mom made me. I worked at Wendy's. I worked at Subway. You know, so when everybody was like in sports and doing all these other things, I was in band, but like I can only really work on the weekends. So like with that, I've always been working. And when I went through like my own losses, man, it was just my identity at stake. It was my ego at stake. I was scared of what other people were going to think, bro, because I lost. Like when I was 22, I lost like almost everything. Like my life was like this, and then all of a sudden it just started like going down, you know? And it was like a very, very dark time for me because, bro, I wanted to give up. I'm like, I got this debt I got to pay back. You know, that's not fun to nobody. So I'll send you that link. But what kind of books or things interest you? You know, aside from, I know you did school and everything, but do you still continue like to maybe dive into any knowledge outside, like just for personal growth?
To be honest, not really, bro. Like that wasn't something. It was cool to learn and cool to understand, and you know, like it really opened my eyes on why I am, or yeah, exactly why I am the way I am in a lot of situations. But I'm not really. It wasn't something I was passionate about. It wasn't something I was, like I told you, it was just something I was doing just because, you know, I was eager to be successful or have, you know, that job that's gonna get my life going. You know, I mean, I was just so eager to get to that, and I kind of rushed into it. And I was like, oh, psychology. I mean, yeah, I guess I'll try that. Like, so I went into it, kind of was too deep into it already. I'm like, I'm the type of person, I'm not gonna quit on something. Like so I started it, and it just wasn't. It wasn't for me, bro. Like it just wasn't. I know what I'm capable of. I know that, you know, I'm able to entertain people and be a voice that people turn on and be like, or people are just waiting every single week to, you know, hear and want to hear what the heck I have to say. Or, you know, I feel like I had a bigger purpose in my life than just to be working that 9 to 5 and having that salary job. I want to make an impact, bro. Like it's, you know, I'm thankful that I have my education. You know, I mean, it does teach you a lot of things, but in a way, it's just like what Elon Musk said. He said, you know, education just teaches you, you know, chores,
Gotta
bro.
be an
Like,
employee, yeah.
yeah, just exactly. Like you have to get shit done on a deadline. You have to get shit done. But half of the stuff I was doing, bro, I was half-assing, or I was just trying to get it done and, you know, trying to find the easy way out to finish it. Like
I've been there.
yeah, bro. I think we all been there. I think,
Yeah.
and you know, it sucks because, you know, I see these kids that are probably in the same predicament as I am, or I was, and that's another thing too. Like I wish I would tell myself, if I can go back and tell myself something, I would tell them like, if you don't feel like you want to be, a teacher or whatever job I could think of or whatever it may be, then don't do it. Go straight to the working force. Like if I could have straight just started working and building my way up that way, that'd have been cool. Like I don't ever bash on people that don't have an education or, and it's the vice versa too. Like if they feel like they need an education to be something, I always preach to them like, bro, like that's just not important. If it's not for you, it's not for you. I see people all the time just struggling and, stressing out that they can't pass this class or they can't pass this test or, get past. I'm like, dude, it's probably just not for you. And that's okay. Like, that's just not what you were meant to be doing. Maybe that's God giving you a sign that,
right.
go do what you're meant to be doing. Like if you have a dream or you have a goal or something that you've always, had in the back of your head that, I would love to do that. Just go fucking do it. Like, just go do it. Why not? Who gives a fuck what people think? People are going to say something anyway. Just give them something to talk about. Whether it's good or bad, give people something to talk about. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But, the minute you make it, the minute you're successful, what are those people going to be saying? Oh, damn, bro. Like, yeah, dude. That Willie guy is pretty funny. Yeah, he is. Yeah, no, bro. That's not what you were saying at first. But they're gonna get on your side. There's everybody that's successful in life, was receiving hate, was getting laughed at, was getting,
100%.
exactly. So I mean, until you take that step, you're never gonna see what you're fully capable of doing. You know what I mean? Where I'm at right now, and I'm sure you see yourself, and when you've pushed yourself to your limits, I truly can say that, I found something I'm passionate about and something that, when I work hard at it, yeah, it could be stressful, but I enjoy it. It's something I enjoy and something I love and something I'm passionate about. When I was opening up a book and writing, 15-page papers, that shit I wasn't like craving to learn about, nature and nurture, or nature versus nurture, and, Sigmund Freud and all these. I was not thrilled to learn about that. I was just going through, I was just trying to do it just so I can get my life going. But I would love to get my life going and do something I love at the same time. You know what I mean?
100%, man. 100%. Now, was it in high school where college or like that career, that ideal career, was that kind of like pushed?
That career was pushed like 2016. I was already like 5 years out of college. It just been because I had worked the after school program where I was going to PC. And I got a job opportunity to work as I don't even know the name of it. It's an education specialist assistant, but basically you're working one-on-one with a special needs student and, making sure they suffer from, mental disabilities or behavioral issues or whatever it may be. So I'm in the classroom with them, and it's super stressful. Like I have a lot of respect for special education because the shit they have to deal with, people don't understand, and what they get paid for, or their salary they get, it's bullshit, bro. Like they deserve a lot more credit than what they get, and they deserve to get paid more, especially teachers too.
Hands-on too, right?
100%, bro. And just the after hours grind that you work, and you don't get paid for that overtime. These teachers are working till 9, 10, 11 p.m. Every single night, grading shit, getting stuff prepped for the week or whatever it may be, and that's not on the clock. You know what I mean? That stuff is so detrimental to their success and them being able to have a smooth year. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that, growing up as a kid, when you're giving the teacher shit in class and being the class clown, and, dude, I feel so bad because I was that kid. I was that kid that loved to make the class laugh and give the teacher a hard time.
I was in seventh grade, but
dude,
then I stopped.
I feel you. But the stress teachers go through, bro, I have so much admiration for teachers. Like they deserve so much more than they receive, and they deserve a lot more love. And I think that needs to be shined on a lot more. I think that needs to be focused on a lot more. Yeah, there's a lot of important things or a lot of things that we need to worry about, but taking care of our educational system is huge, in my opinion. It's not, I mean, yeah, in college too, for sure, but from the youth, bro, like from elementary school, from middle school to high school, like those are really important years that you learn the basics, and you figure out what you want to do in life. You know what I mean? And you're with your teachers more than you are with your parents when you really think about it. Like your parents are working all these hours and you get home, you're only up to like 9 or 10. You're only there for like 4 hours when you see them.
Yeah.
So you're with your teachers more than you are with your own parents. Like they make a huge impact into your life. And I think people don't really focus on that.
That's for sure. I mean, the pay gap isn't there. You know, I mean, there's a
For
huge
sure.
pay gap. It's not closed. But I agree with you, man. I definitely agree with you. Now, so you had graduated college and then you started working for that program. And then was it there where they were telling you, hey, you could do this, you know, go get your master's? Is that where it was kind of like
Yes.
encouraged?
I was working as an education specialist assistant as I was going through college, and then I graduated with my bachelor's, and that's when they said, "Oh, would you like to start long-term subbing for us? You know, as an education specialist." So that's basically a teacher, but they teach, you know, special education.
Mhm.
I'm like, "Oh, okay. I never really thought about subbing because I never really wanted to teach. It wasn't really my niche. It wasn't really something because I'm super impatient, bro. Like, I can't sit there and teach a kid, you know, what's
Yeah.
5 times 2, and they keep saying 8, and like it's like because I'm the type of person that if I get something, I just get it. Like it's hard for me to explain and
Explain it.
break things down for people. I don't know why. I've always been like that. I'm super impatient and I get frustrated. So like as a teacher, I just knew that wasn't really what I wanted to do. But at the time, you know, the money was pretty good. So I'm like, yeah, I'll try it out. So I got into that, and you know, I was going into the meetings and you know learning just about the department. And you know, I started talking to a school psychologist, and she's like, you know what, I think you'd be really you'd fit my role pretty well, and you could be my intern. I'm like, oh shoot, okay, cool. Like, you know, we were talking about it, you know, the salary and you know the responsibilities and what I need to do, and so, you know, get your master's and you need to get a credential, and I was like, okay, so I kind of dove into that, and along the way, I was still, you know, working as an education specialist, and I don't know, bro. I was going through the motions, and I just felt like I don't know. I didn't wake up every day, and I was like
You weren't excited?
excited. I wasn't. I was dreading work. I didn't want to go. You know what I mean? And that's something that really dug deep inside of me. Like it really hit me. Like I'm like, this is not something I want to do every single day of my life. I don't want to wake up and be miserable. And that goes back to, you know, the way you age and the way you know, have to take, you shouldn't take life, you know, that serious. But I really want to wake up every day and, you know, look forward to working. Like that's what I want to do. Like that's a main goal. And that's something I would preach to, you know, our youth too. Find something that you wake up every day and you're driven to be the best at it. Whether that's anything, like just if you don't wake up every day enjoying what you're doing, then you're not living life to the fullest. That's not, you know, I mean, we only live one life. This shit flies by, and you know, like you said, we're already getting older. You know what I mean? So you kind of realize how fast, especially when you go through the motions of life and you're working and you know you're trying to figure things out. That shit goes by quick, bro. So like,
Exactly.
I really want to do something that you know I love and I'm passionate about, and that's it. All connects to this podcast, bro. Like I said, everything I've done, you know, everything I've done, I think it's all led to this point, and you know, I'm just gonna go full force at it, and I believe in it. And it's something that you know I really feel is gonna be a chapter in my life that I'm gonna look back on, and be proud of. You know, because it got to me to where I'm at. Wherever 10 years from now, I hope I'm successful and I'm making an impact in our community, and you know, giving back to the city of Porterville and you know the valley, and you know, being that person people look up to. You know what I mean? And you know, I don't want to be that guy that nobody feels that they can not come to for advice or come to you know learn something. Like I'm super open. I want people to copy the outline or whatever it takes to do these type of things. You know what I mean? If people want to come to me and find out how you start a podcast, and come to me. Like, yeah, I learn everything on my own, but I'm an open book, bro. I'm an open book, and I'm easy to talk to, and I truly love what I do. I know people would love to do this too. Would love to do whatever they want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just
There's a
ramble, bro. I just ramble. I go. I know.
no. Don't worry about it, man. I mean, with what you're saying, you're making sense. 110%. There's a couple of things that I wanted to highlight. One of them, you said people need to do what they want to do. Don't wake up every day and hate it. You know, I can vouch for what you just said. 110%. Now, where I Also, like it was just, you reminded me of a quote. I think in quotes a lot. Just how my
I
brain
love
works.
that. That's dope.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
dope.
a little different, but I was just thinking of Earl Nightingale. It's a very, very short clip. They have it on YouTube, but he just talks about success, and he talks a little bit about. He just says, success is the progressive realization of a worthy idea. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if that's a sport. Doesn't matter if that's
Right.
a career. It's the progressive realization of a worthy idea. Your podcast was an idea, and you're progressively, like every day, realizing like, holy shit, this thing, bro. And it just goes from there. So, I wouldn't say, definitely don't hope. Just continue to do what you're doing, bro.
Yeah.
5-10 years, they're going to fly by. Continue to do what you're doing. Continue to hit it with your intensity and your persistency. Without a doubt, you're going to get to where you want to go. I love the fact that you're humble and you have humility. You're willing to teach anybody that, has a question. You're not closed off. You don't have a scarcity mindset. And I think that that's important, because there's a lot of people out there that, if you're in the same industry, the same niche, or the same whatever, they tend to think like, oh man, and I can say this because I've been in sales for a very long time, and it's the same in that industry. If you're, like now I'm in solar, I don't care personally when people talk to other solar, specialists, because I like just answering questions, and I don't have a scarcity mindset. I know that if I don't sell that person, bro, there's millions of other
Right.
people that I can go and that I can help. That one person or family is not going to make or break my life, And I think just having that simple, switch from there's not going to be enough customers to there's an infinite amount, it's very, very different, because then you'll be able to weed out, and kind of going back to what we were saying, with groups of people, whoever your social circle is, if you're around a lot of people that have that mindset of scarce, like it's not enough, like, let's take all of those clients before they get them, because there's not going to be any more, bro, that wears off, and that'll show you who you don't need to be around. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think that again is really important. Now, I want to ask you, at what point in this journey, because you're describing to me what you were going through, and I think that that's important, because a lot of people, I'm sure, can relate what they're doing as a job, school, whatever. But I mean, what was it for you? Was it this year? I just want to say the year. I don't want to really bring light to, like, obviously, everything that's going on. But what point was it for you to where you were like, hey, let's do this? Was it, I think you had mentioned it was your friend Beto at the time. But with work, like, when did you just say, hey, I'm done? Like,
well, yeah. So I was subbing at the time. I was doing that long-term sub deal, and bam, the pandemic hit. They're going to shut down schools, so I was going to be out of a job, and I had to hit unemployment. So I hit unemployment like around March, and nothing to do, was at home. And I'm the type of person where I don't like to just be sitting around doing nothing. You know what I mean? I got to be doing something, bro. I got to be making, whether if it's not making money, I got to be doing something that's going to benefit my life and somehow. You know what I mean? So Bethel really is the one that really pushed it. You know what I mean? I was trying to figure things out, trying to find a job, trying to, just figger shit out, because this pandemic is never, as far as our
bro, it hit every industry, man, even me.
And I wasn't educated on this and what to do, and we never dealt with this before. So
right.
And Bethel just came with the idea. Like I said, he just hit it like, bro, we've been talking about this podcast. This is the perfect time. We have nothing else to do. Let's just go for it. And like I said, I did those vlogs in the past, and I'm thankful for that, because I feel like if I never took the chance to do that and kind of went past those fears of people
criticizing you
or whatever,
criticizing.
I think I probably would have never done the podcast, or I would have told them, or just kept pushing, like, yeah, bro, okay, we'll do it next week, or anything. But I think Beto a lot too, because he's the one that really said, hey, bro, like, if we don't do this now, we're never gonna do it. So did my research, went on Google, looked up how to start a podcast, like literally Google how to start a podcast. What do you need for a podcast? Went through different blogs and stuff and picked out the equipment there and got it going, figured everything out. Didn't know how to edit, didn't know how to set up, the equipment, didn't know how to, make graphic arts and do all these things that come along with this business. But just learn on my own, bro. And I would say just the pandemic to wrap all that up. There goes me rambling again, but wrap all that up. Definitely the pandemic and having nothing else to do and figuring out, just take that chance.
It's almost like a blessing in disguise, right?
Exactly what I was gonna say, bro. It's like a blessing that it's an ugly blessing, I guess you can say, but God works in mysterious ways, bro. I think
100%.
everything happens for a reason. I feel, that if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be making, clothing. Like that's always been a dream of mine, was to make some clothing that's dope.
It's cool, right?
That's exactly. And I know you started doing it a long time ago, and I copped some merch, but yeah, to actually see people fucking with your ideas and seeing it come to life, just the starting process. I don't think people understand, like giving the idea out, seeing the different designs at first and kind of messing with it and pinpointing, oh, I want this, I want to change that, I want to do this, and then finally seeing the final product and like, okay, boom, that's it. And then seeing it come to life, you get it shipped and you wear it and you're seeing yourself in the mirror with like, holy shit, dude, it's just like this actually happens. But in a way, everything's happening so fast and we're doing so many things at once, and we're so busy that I don't really step back and really take appreciation for all of it. Like, this is something I've always dreamed about. Like, I've always been into fashion. Like, I've always cared about, it might be stupid to some people, but I think the way you dress and the way you carry yourself has a lot to do with, your attitude and the way you perceive yourself and, and the way if you love yourself or not. I think all those things matter. I think if you start to not care about the way you look and what's on your body or whatever it may be, I feel like that all plays a factor into, how you perceive yourself. And if you truly do love yourself, which is super important.
Yeah, it's self-love,
and especially dealing with psychology and mental health. I mean, nowadays we're so caught up in comparing ourselves that we dig ourselves a hole that it's hard to get out of, and it's hard to see a different way. I mean, some people are so caught up into trying to compare themselves with other people that you can try to talk them out of it, but they're so brainwashed into thinking this is the way you're supposed to be looking. This is the way, I mean, like, it's hard to talk them out of it. It takes fucking time. And I still deal with it too. I think we all deal with our insecurities, and I for sure do, but it's never wrong to remind yourself, I mean, you're going to have that mindset here and there. I mean, you're going to have those down days and days you're not loving yourself, but just keep reminding yourself. And I feel like that helps you push the next day. You know what I mean? Like, there goes me rambling again, bro.
No, you're good. Honestly, I know I need to, but I like what you're saying. If you were going and you were, in another planet, I'd probably stop you. But I like what you're saying, bro. Self-love, without a doubt, everybody needs to have it. Mm-hmm. And as we age and gather wisdom, you can say that, man, these life lessons are just like coming and going. But one thing I wanted to say earlier is that I believe that you have to choose growth in order to understand and perceive the shortcomings, the blessings, and any failure. You have to choose growth in order to pull the lessons from that, or else you're going to be stuck blaming everybody else. And it doesn't sound at all like you're doing that. So it doesn't sound that you're like blaming anybody. So that's good. You have a growth mindset, bro. And I mean, that's what people need to have. The ability to.
And I fall victim to it all the time. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I don't ever.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Have those bad thoughts. And it's okay to have those thoughts. Don't think that, oh my God, I'm thinking this way, I'm fucked. Like, there's nothing I can do. No, it's okay. Like, just breathe. You're gonna be fine.
Right.
There's always the next day. You know what I mean? Just always try to feel like you can improve the next day, whether it be anything you do in life, even your mental health, like the way you perceive yourself. Just, you always got tomorrow. And that's kind of wrong to say, because I'm not, no day's promised, but
yeah,
you should just still have that mindset that, you have time to heal yourself, to love yourself. Like there's always chance to grow. Like you said, you gotta have that growth mindset. You know what I mean? You can't sit here and dwell on life and feel sorry for yourself. Like if you're not happy with yourself, do something about it. You know, go exercise. If you're overweight, go exercise. You know what I mean? If you're balding or something and you're going, just shave your fucking head and like just move on with that shit. Like don't, whatever it may be, like just move on from those
And that
things
might
like
be
that.
tough for some, bro, but
Oh,
I
of
agree with
course.
what you're saying.
Of
100%.
course.
You just got to embrace, the present moment, embrace now, and literally
Yeah.
just live it out, you know? Um,
You'll be miserable, bro. You're gonna be miserable for sure.
man. So now that you have, fast tracked, your guys' show, man, honestly, I'm just, again, I can't even tell you how grateful I am just for you, shedding some light and hopping on my show. I think it's, like I said, it's very humble of you, and I appreciate that without a doubt. Because I feel like that, there's a lot of people that don't really have that mindset and that won't.
Mhm.
But now you were saying, you were kind of giving us an idea of where, you want to go and what you guys are doing right now. So you guys, this is the only thing you guys are doing
It's the only
as
thing we're
far as
doing
like
right now. Yeah.
show. Okay.
hmm
That's
The
awesome, man.
podcast, and then we're just starting the clothing brand. But yeah, we have some other things in the works too
There you
behind
go.
the scenes.
There
But
you go.
we're just trying to grow, man. We're just trying to grow, get an audience, um, be consistent. I think consistency is huge. I think you got to show that you're serious about something. And if you do something, I think we're on our. I think this is gonna be our 30th episode this week. So I mean that's pretty good. But I mean
Yeah. Very
it
good.
takes a while for people to take you serious. You know, what I mean, I think we'll get there, but I know we'll get there.
You
But we're
guys have
just
a lot of key players, though, man. To not take you
yeah,
guys
dude.
seriously is kind of, childish. I mean, you
No,
guys
yeah,
have a lot of good stuff
I
going on.
mean, and yeah, but not everybody has that mindset. You know, not everybody's. You know, they've seen it all before. They think that oh, people talk about these things or they do it one or two times. Just like when I was vlogging. You know, I did that like 4 times and I stopped. How many
Yeah,
people have you seen? Start doing that and they just stop. Like, and you don't take that serious.
that's
So I mean.
true.
I want to show that we're consistent. I want to show that, our brand is going to be dope as fuck and people can rock it and, feel good wearing it and be proud about it and show that, we're not here to play games. Like we're actually serious. We're actually something that we're going to be proud of and that people can, look back at and be like, damn, dude, those guys really did start from the bottom and look where they're at now. And if you want to, ride the wave, then hey, grab your surfboard, dope. But if not, then I guess you can just chill at the beach, bro. Like it's up to you. Like, but we're gonna keep going. We're this. I'm telling you, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep pushing. We're gonna be consistent. And I feel like this is something that's gonna be bigger than just a podcast. That's why I say I think this is a brand. I think I
Yeah, no
love the
limits,
idea.
man. No limits. It's
I don't
your
want to have
guys'
a. I don't
brand.
want to have a limit. Yeah, I don't want to have a limited mindset. Like I want to push this shit to beyond what I have. You know what I mean? I want to build a team. You know what I mean? I shouldn't say I because me and Belta, but we want to build a team. We want to build something that's, like I said, beyond whatever we could imagine.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, don't have any limit. I mean, I struggled with limiting myself and like, what my brand was early on.
Mhm.
In the very beginning, I started with a good friend of mine, John Moreno. But in the
Yeah.
very beginning, man, we started out as just a clothing brand. And I think the only thing that made me excited was the fact that you get to make your own stuff and wear it. And I came from, working and everything else. But like after high school, I joined a network marketing company and we were pushing like energy drinks at that time. And the thing that stuck in my mind was no matter who we are, we're always advertising for people, businesses, and things all day
Mhm.
long
Mhm.
by telling somebody, hey, bro, I just ate that, ate at that
Yeah,
place.
for
It was
sure.
amazing. Go check it out. Hey, I just bought those shoes. They're the best. You're going to love them. Buy them. We're always promoting everything. So I was very narrow minded in the beginning and I was like, okay, we're going to be a clothing brand. And then
Mhm.
I found for me, this is where I feel like we're a little bit different. You love fashion. For me, it's like a chore almost sometimes to keep up with things if you're not passionate about it. So for me, I got stuck with doing everything and I'm like, I don't really find this fun, man. So like I struggled with giving up or to continue to go. And there was a couple of runs, I had lived in San Diego and I think that's when you got some of our merchandise, and I'm actually going to send you something, just for being on the show. But I want to say that I can remember one of the orders that you got from me. It was when I used to do cotton shirts. So if it shrunk, my apologies. I
No, it's
hate
all good.
cotton, and it wasn't even my decision. But
No, I think I went to Rosarito and I rocked it. I don't know if you remember that.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah. I 100%, man. I was
it was
shocked. I
dope.
was like, what? That's
I remember
awesome.
even Beto. It's funny because we were talking about when we first started making clothes. He was like, "Dude, I want to make a shirt. That's same colorway. Dude, it's one of those shirts you have." And I was like, "What shirt?" He's like, "It has like green on it." I'm like, "I don't fucking know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about." And then I moved recently. We are going through my closet, and I pulled the shirt out. I still had it hung up. He's like, "That shirt." I'm like, it was that Luxic Vue shirt. I'm like, "This one." He's like, "Yeah." So
I love the color scheme, man. I just wish that those shirts lasted a bit longer. These
Yeah,
ones
I know what
right
you mean.
here, yeah, these are polyester and cotton, so they're like
Okay.
60
Oh, that's
40. So
nice.
when you wash
That's
them, they
nice.
don't shrink.
Mhm.
And I'm a really big person on like clothes that shrink because I like to buy fitted stuff, not.
Yeah. And
Um,
that kind of goes back to our clothing too. I know people looked at our prices and we're selling sweaters for $50, $55, and I don't know. I think people might be thinking like, dude, these sweaters. I'm not gonna go buy a sweater at
they're
50,
like, is
55
that
bucks,
is
bro.
that
Like,
Hanes?
yeah, is
No,
that no? This is good quality material. Like,
I believe you.
trust me, it's on
The
my
good stuff costs
body.
money.
Yeah, it's on my body. I know this is a representation of me and Beto. Like, we actually cared about what we're putting out. We're not just gonna put out cheap ass shit, which is nothing wrong with that. That's what you can afford. That's what you can
Yeah,
afford. But like, I want to wear stuff that is gonna be long lasting and that people will feel good wearing. That's gonna like these sweaters, dude. They're so like I don't know. I love them. They're very warm, good material. I mean, I already washed mine a couple times. They're not fading yet. Like it's just I know what it feels like to wear a sweater that you're just like not that happy with. You know what I mean? You pay a
yeah.
good amount of money, and we're not even making that much money off this shit. I don't think people realize the process of
Buying, selling,
buying
yeah.
and buying and selling stuff like that. I mean, you have to buy a bulk load to make pretty good money, and then
especially
you
with
gotta sell
your
those.
especially with your color choices too. Per
Yeah,
color, most places charge you, so
and we're
there's a lot.
screen printing too, so it's more expensive. But we're not even making that much money. I mean, I wish we could sell it for cheaper. I really do, but I mean, all that money is not going towards our pocket. It's going to our next drop, or it's going towards our podcast, or whatever it be. We're not even making profit off of everything we're selling, and that's fine. We're not in it for the money right now. Like right now, we're trying to
Yeah,
grow. That's all we want to do. We just want to grow, and
brand awareness.
we have to be in a deficit. Then we got to be in a deficit. Like I know the money's gonna come. It'll come eventually, but I'm not even worried about that. But like, I just want people to know that our material, our clothing, like it's not shit that you're gonna be disappointed when you rock. Like we actually care about the product we're putting out there. We actually do a lot of planning. We actually try this stuff on and make sure that it's quality that people are going to be happy about.
That's good, man. Like I said, I love the vision. I like what you guys are doing. Um, what I want to ask you, what have been some highlights of having your podcast? Something you want to share? Like what has been
Man, dude,
something you're
yeah,
excited
bro,
to
like
wake up to do?
just get better every day, bro. Like there's always I want to just continue to learn. I'm everything we're doing, like it even comes down to our clothing. Like I want to learn how to graphic design. It kills me, bro. Like it eats me that I can't go on the computer and like make my own designs. And I'm gonna fucking do it. Like I'm gonna learn how to do that. I've learned everything else on my own. I've
There
learned
you
how
go.
to edit. I've learned how to make graphic arts and create video clips and promote on Instagram and just 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 want to learn, bro. I want to learn and just get dope guests. Like I think hearing people's stories, hearing people's ideas, and people always have an image, or people always paint a picture about somebody, but I want to hear it in their own words. I want to see who the real so and so is. You know what I mean? And I just want to
Right.
I want to learn just from people that and have conversations with people that I never would imagine having with. Like we interviewed Coach Jason Brown. Um he was one of the top coaches in community college. He was on Netflix's Last Chance University. a show I fucking loved, like one of my favorite Netflix shows. Like I was watching Heavenly. It was like it's one of my favorite seasons to watch. You know, on that show. If you
Wow.
haven't watched, it's pretty dope. But we ended up interviewing him like few months back and had a conversation with him, and you know he knows who we are, and you know during the time, you know, we're kind of just going through the motions, trying to figure out what's the next show that you kind of get caught up. Like I'm like, whoa, bro, like I actually just talked to Coach Jason Brown. I actually just talked to Bryce Butler, who I was watching play football every single Sunday. Where, you know, I'm a Cowboys fan. He
Dang.
played for my favorite team, bro. Like I've seen him
Yeah.
catch touchdowns from Tony Romo. I had a conversation with this dude. Like I know this dude now. And I want to continue to network and, you know, grow relationships and just get better each and every day, bro. That's something I thirst for. I crave. I want. And I really envision myself being really fucking good at this shit, for sure.
That's the mindset, man. That's the attitude that you need to have. Tell me, how did that go about? Did you guys just reach out to him and he was like, hey, I'll do it?
No, so shout out to Anthony Rios. He's like our PR. He works out in LA and he works with a bunch of different podcasts, and he's the behind the scenes guy for us. But he plugged us with Coach Jason Brown. Like he worked for him, and Bryce Bella the same thing. Like without Anthony, shout out Anthony. I don't think we don't give him enough love. Like he does a lot for us, and you know, and hopefully he's part of our team. Like we want him to be a part of our team. That's why we want to slowly start to grow. You know, I mean, I know right now
Yeah.
we're very hands on with everything, like with social media, and you know, even I mean, we get our guests too. You know, we just hit them up, try to email them, DM them, you know, shoot our shot. I mean, that's all you can do. Just try to shoot your shot, and we get turned down. We get people that just leave us on scene or don't even get a chance to look at it. But I mean, if you don't shoot your shot, you're never gonna get that chance. So that's another piece of advice. Just go shoot your shot, dude. If you have somebody you want to interview, just try. It's not gonna hurt. Like I try to email, you know, a bunch of big time people, and I hope one of them all it takes is one, bro. If we get one of them, that's dope. But as far as getting those people, Anthony Rios, like that's our guy. He's from Porterville, and he's doing big things too. And we really appreciate everything he's done for us.
That's awesome, man. Now, shoot, I feel like we've been talking forever. You know, this was just a really great conversation. I definitely appreciate, again, I can't even say it enough, man.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel you.
so, I mean, we've kind of, like I said, we've tapped into the majority of your story. Is there any last things that you want to leave the audience with? Because you've dropped in a lot of knowledge, man. You know, you drop in a lot of knowledge just about mindset, doing what you need to do, and doing what you love. And this last thing you said, shoot your shot, bro. That's important for anybody, because
100%.
if you don't, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Facts. Talk to him, bro. It's
So
true,
any
100%, bro.
last,
Like yeah.
go ahead.
No, I could, like you said, bro. If you're not gonna take your chance, you're not gonna get anywhere. You gotta take your chance in anything you do. Just go for it. Like that's what I want to leave. My last impression. Just simple and sweet. Go for it. You're not gonna get anywhere. It's gonna be stuck in your head. It's gonna be an idea that, you know, could be a freaking multi-million-dollar deal or like something that could really change a lot of people's lives, and it's stuck in. How many people do you think are out there that, you know, have an idea that can really change humanity or change, you know, the
Oh, a
outlook of
lot.
their community and, you know, who they are as a person, bro? Like just stuck in their head, but they don't want to take that chance. They don't want to do it. They're scared of what people are going to think, which is fine. Like it's normal to be scared. It's normal to be afraid, but there's only one way to conquer that. Doing it. Just do it. Shout out to Nike. Just do it, bro.
Huh.
I know I know you have that mindset too. I know there's a few of us that do and just want to prove people wrong, and you know, it's more than just proving people wrong. Like prove yourself right. You know what I mean? Prove yourself that you could do something,
Yeah.
that you are more than just, you know, just a kid from the valley. You know what I mean? Be proud of where you're from, but help put the valley on the map. You know what I mean? And I feel like we're on the right path, bro. I think we're gonna do it.
100%, man. You know, it's about creating impact at the end of the day. And I think, you know, you mentioned that a few times. You know, you want to share with people your message, your vision, and give them a platform at the end of the day, because that's what you're creating, a platform for other people to come and share their story and to tell you how they feel, you know, about themselves and their journeys as well. I mean, you guys have interviewed, you know, a bunch of different people in the sports industry, business owners, and
that's the thing I want to say too. We don't want to just be a sports podcast. We want to shine light on business minds, on on women and their beliefs, and on fitness, and just I don't want our podcast to have a category. I want it to be some like, fuck, well, that's how you feel podcast. I really don't know, bro. They talk about everything. Like, you know what I mean? I want people to just, I want to have an audience that's very diverse, that, anybody
That's
can
awesome.
press play and be tuned in. You know what I mean? It just depends on, the people you bring in on the show. Like, I don't really want to just focus on sports. Yes, I love sports. I love talking about it. And for the most part, we start off every show kind of going over, up to date news and sports, and going over NFL games and things like, yeah. But, we want to talk about life too. We want to talk about our personal issues and things we go and, just be real, bro. Tell people how
Exactly,
we feel.
man.
No pun intended. Like,
No, no, exactly, man. I mean, we're human. We all have the same emotions, and we're not just like a one trick pony. We have to be diverse. And I think, a lot of the older generations, they wanted everything to be like very narrow. And I feel like, we kind of fell into that in adolescence growing up, from the moment they told us in school, like, oh, you can't do that. You need to do it this way. So we're kind of like trained to follow the assembly line, if you will.
And I'm thankful I have a good support group around me that, from my family, my friends, my girlfriend, everybody that truly believes in us. And because without them, who knows where it would be at right now. It'd be a lot more difficult. And there's probably people out there that don't have that support system. The people that, if they would do something like this, like, they would get hate for it, or their family would disown them, or would make a joke out of them. You know what I mean? But I always tell my girlfriend this too, because she has her dreams too, and her family's very old school, and they're, you need to go to work, get your education, do that type of thing, which is fine. But I always tell her, like, if that's not your path, then do what you love to do. She loves to do eyelashes. She likes to do makeup and stuff like that. But when your parents are old school, they don't really see that as a career. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I tell her, like, hey, just believe in yourself. The minute you show that you can be successful at this, you're gonna change their mind. You know what I mean? So just do what you love to do. You're gonna take backlash. You're gonna get people. They're gonna not believe in you sometimes, but there's only one way to make them believe, is to just go do it. Look at that silver lining, bro. All back to just do it. Do it. Like the Shia LaBeouf saying, "Do it.
Do it." Yeah.
Just fucking do it. Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities in between, what we stand for, and there's no coincidence, man. That's why you're here. There's a lot of generations that believe, like you just said. I have a lot of friends that kind of like live that same life, not in the same, from your girlfriend's perspective, but like, obviously they're family members and what have you, but it's breaking that, man. It's breaking down those barriers, between what's possible, what's not possible, and living in other people's boundaries. Because if you think of it on the reverse, just since you gave the example of your girlfriend, but if she continued to follow that step, or for anybody, follow the steps that you need to, just to kind of like please people, you're doing yourself a disservice at the end of the day, But I fell in the same boat, man. I think college for me was kind of like pressed on me from like my mom and my dad. And I started to realize, like, that's not what I want to do. So like looking back at how everything transpired, I'm glad that, I had the wins and the losses that I had, because it kind of pushed me in the direction, just like how this whole quarantine pushed you in the direction to start, your guys' show, your podcast. For me, I also had to figure out what I was going to do, because I was working with the company. But man, there is lessons to be learned in failures and also in the successes. And in order to keep that mindset of just, pushing forward, I think it's important for anybody just to reflect again on that. Just for those kind of listening, reflect on where you're at. Is it where you want to be? Do you not want to be there? Why not? What are you going to do to get yourself out of that position? And instead of, this is one thing I wanted to tell you earlier. I don't know if you know who Gary Vee is, but one thing that Gary Vee talks about is when you're in a situation like, you know, let's say something bad just happened to you, right? And you're like, okay, this happened to me. His famous word afterwards was, and that happened to you, but and what are you going to do about it? So I think, you know, things like that, little sayings that you can, little affirmations, if you will, that you can constantly like tell yourself. And no, I don't think I answered you earlier, but you said, is it weird that I talk to myself? The answer is no. You need positive self-talk, man. And this was like early on in the show. Yeah. But just to re-bring that up, you know, you're definitely not a weird person. That's important. You know, self-talk is necessary.
I need that clarification, bro. I needed
that. Well, all right, man. This has been a really, really fun episode. I'm glad that you heard me say it like 30 times already, but I'm glad that you took the time to come on and hop on Luxic Vue Mindset. For everybody out there, you can always collaborate with anybody. That you don't need to have a scarcity mindset. It's about having that abundance mindset and propelling yourself forward. They say that if you want to go farther, go together, but if you want to move faster, go by yourself. So if you move with people, you have a team, you can go farther. But if you're solo and you're flying solo, you'll get there faster, but you won't be in it for the long haul.
Talk to him, bro. Damn, we need like pictures of you on Google with, you know, the quotes next to it, like an all dramatic picture with the quotes next to you. You got it, bro. You got it,
man. It's like just some stuff, you know, resonates, but then there's times where shoot, I can't even remember a quote to save my life. But it's the synergy that's you know on this show right now. There's a lot of synergy between you and I that's I think why we're getting along the best. But for the most part, just collaborate is what I can say with others, man. And again, I'm honored to have you on to share your perspective and to share, you know, your podcast, man. Check out his catalog. You're going to be shocked at what you see. But there's a lot of good knowledge, good information from people local and not local, people that you might have seen on TV and people that you might have seen at a coffee shop, you know? So definitely check them out. That's How You Feel podcast on all streaming platforms. You're on everything
YouTube as well.
Everything. Check them out. Do me a favor. Follow them. Follow Willie. I love Wille Prince, bro. Wille Prince. Do you pronounce your full last name all the time? Prince-Mata?
I didn't at first. I used to hate it, bro. I used to hate it because it was so long, and everybody thought, "Oh, it's your middle name," and it would be a bitch because I would go like, you know, when you go your first day of school and you go get your schedule, and I would hate to. There's the P line, there's the M line. I always like, I don't want to. I have to wait in the P line, but what if my name's in the M line? So I waste my time in the P line. My name's on. So I go all the way back to the M line. So I used to be stressed out about it, be embarrassed, but I've grown to love it, bro. And it's me. I think it suits well. I don't know. I feel like I'm times, bro.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you got the podcast, you know, you're out there. People are going to know that name, man. Wille Prince-Mata. Yes, so definitely check out podcast. I will tag all of his links down below. But thank you again, man, for taking the time to come out today. We've had a crazy episode. I mean, we talk about a lot of different things, a lot of motivation, a lot of inspiration for you guys. But thank you for those that are tuning in. And I will see all of you guys next time. Thanks, man.
Peace. Yes, sir. Shout out to Luxic Vue one time.
Woo! Doubt kills. Live your legacy. Embrace the moment.